Welcome to the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. We're doing a chit chat today. Thank you all so much for stopping by today, joining me on the show. Hey, Lashes, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, Lovey, welcome. How are you all doing? Happy New Week. I hope everybody's doing great. Today, we're just going to do a little chit chat and talk about some important things that I think is important to me. And I think it's important to chit chat about these things. So, we're going to get right into this topic. We're just going to talk about some important issues. And the biggest one is what's going on now with inflation. Hey, Joshua, how are you? Welcome. Right now, inflation is so crazy right now. Back in 2020, the inflation rate used to be 30%. Hey, realists, welcome. Back in 2020, inflation was 3%. Currently, the inflation rate is 9%. So, my question is, with how inflation goes, that's not how people are being paid right now. Aren't being paid the way that they're getting money. People aren't being paid the way that how the cost of everything is going. Things are so expensive now in the stores. And not just the stores, it's the food. When you go in the grocery stores, everything is sky high. It's crazy how high things are getting. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Hey, Dave. It's crazy how things are so expensive in the stores. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? I don't know how the average person can live in this environment right now. Just for an example, just one thing that went up in the store back in 2021, a box of eggs was $1.29 in my local area, and now the same box of eggs, probably smaller too, is $5.25. And the same thing when it comes to rent. Rent used to be an average price. Now the average rent in my local area is $1,400, and it goes on and on and on. The amount of inflation right now is not matching the pay that we receive. I just want to know, what is your inflation rate right now? Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa. I hope it works out. I really do. I hope it works out for you and you get somewhere safe. All right, realists, thank you. I think it's very important to talk about what's going on right now in the country, in the world. People are bombarded with bills. Their cost of living is ridiculous right now. Um, just 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, I could I could cover all my expenses in the house for, I didn't even need $2,000 to cover all my expenses. And now the same expenses that I have has almost doubled. It's almost doubled. And ask me if my income went up. Nope. So how are people supposed to cope with this? How are people supposed to cope with just the ordinary day to day? How are people supposed to live, just taking care of themselves, their families? You're getting the same pay, the money isn't stretching. And I know that a lot of people I know that a lot of people right now are not even eating because they have to make a choice between eating and having a roof over their head. And that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous to me. Hi, Jenny. Welcome. I would love to hear what you all's opinion on this is. The state of inflation right now, the cost of things, just day to day things. How are you all coping with this? Because I know if this is something that I'm struggling with, I know I'm not the only one struggling with trying to live from day to day. Um, they said the amount of people now that are moving back in together, kids are coming home to live with their parents, siblings are living together, people are getting roommates. It's just something that you have to do in order to survive because I used to be a person to give to places like food banks and food kitchens. Now I'm looking to go to these places and get food. After you pay your bills, you don't have any money to eat. And if it's that way and I would say that I'm a person I'm not low income, but I definitely am not rich. If I can feel the pinch, I can't imagine how it feels for somebody, say, single parents, those who are on low income assistance, the disabled, senior citizens. How are they coping with this? You know, just eating. A lot of senior citizens, veterans, they they have given and risked, their whole lives giving back to their local area with whatever job that they did. And now that they cannot work, either because of by choice or because of disability, now they don't even have food to eat. I just don't think that this is something that should be happening in this wonderful place, supposed that we live. And, unfortunately, it gets worse. It gets worse if we don't plan. So, some of the things that I had to do is just cut back on a lot of things, like all of those extra things I can't do that I used to do. I have to get like really strict with my budget. And I had to start doing some investing because I was like, I can't just have my money sitting in the bank. Those are some of the things that I had to do for myself in order to just generate some income, not just live like how before you had room to stretch your money, stretch your budget and do different sorts of things, but now you can't. You can't you can't do the things that you used to do. And I just wanted to talk about it because it seems to be a problem for many, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about the stress that it puts on families. Some people have to right now be working 2 or 3 jobs just to keep their head above water. And that means that you're not spending time with your family. That means you're more stressed out. That means that shortens your life expectancy. I just think it's crazy. Like you're gonna have to do something to generate more income, either get more skills so that you get a higher pay rate, or in your business, you're gonna have to increase the amount that you're charging for things. But something has to be done, and I don't know. It's just become overwhelming. And since the pandemic happened until now, I still feel pandemic burnout. I thought it was something that would go away, with the isolation and everything that you had to deal with. And coming out of it, now it's like everything has gotten expensive. And I don't know about you all, but we have supply chain issues. You go in the store, and even if you want it, that item is missing from the shelf, and we don't know when we're going to get it back. So it's a lot of issues right now that comes with the inflation. And I want to ask you all, if you're in your area, are you experiencing some things that they were talking about in an article that I was reading, when they were talking about the banks, all of the things that the banks have done. I feel like it's been a crackdown recently with what the banks are doing. See what has what I've known for a long time, because my dad was in the banking industry and he told me to not put my money into the bank but put it in other sources of income. So if you all don't know what they do in the banks, they take your money, they give you what, point 5% as an interest rate for your savings account, but they also invest your money and they make between 3 to 8% off of your money. So the banks are getting rich off of us, but we're not helping ourselves. So I just wanted to say that, just so that you all are aware that there is other things besides the banking, local banks. You can choose to go with investment places like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, that is going to give you a way higher interest rate for your money. There's some things that we have to do, and it's an awareness that we have to open up our eyes and see certain things. Nobody is going to tell you, but I want you all to be aware that, going to a bank isn't your only option. It's not your only option. And 0.01 to 0.5 average bank rate. Oh, wow. It's worse than I thought. So you don't even get 0.5, it's 0.05. Okay. So there's options. There's options for us out there. And, my audience over here is mainly melanated people, and not that it's just for us, but I want to reach out to let you all know, have awareness that you don't have to keep settling and letting institutions overcharge us. And another thing that I've seen in my area is how big places like Scott, check cashing places, because people don't have the money. So you put yourself into a cycle of having to borrow money. So as soon as you get money, you have to go right back and borrow again. So you're in this loop that you can't get out of. So you're going to have to find a way to generate more income, or not waste the income that you have, because something has to be done. Something has to be done. And I also wanted to, yes, Lisa, seek out a rate of 4.3 or above. Yeah, I think it was you, when you were doing your live streaming, you were speaking about that. That's when I went and did some more research, because I was currently only getting 3.9%. And when I saw that you guys were getting 4.2, and I don't know who the other guy was, I can't remember, but he said he was getting 5%. So that gives us some knowledge that when you're only getting 0.05% interest rate, think about how much you're being ripped off. Think about how much you're being ripped off every time you deposit money in the bank. You're giving them money to use at your expense. At your expense. Just so you know. Yeah, you're right, Lisa. You're right. So I just wanted to share that, because it was something that I've been thinking about, like, why are things so expensive? Why and that's just one thing that we're being ripped off for, that is just being found out. And I also want to talk about this situation, um, and it's linked with inflation, is homelessness. Have you all seen in local areas that homelessness is out of control. And it all goes with what's happening. Hey, Sky, Swizzy, welcome. Thank you for coming by. I think it's your first time here. Welcome. And anybody who is new to this channel, I would love for you to subscribe to this channel. Um, Also, everybody, this is a big problem. And if you don't think it's a problem, we don't think about certain things until it involves us. I can tell you the honest truth. I'm only maybe 3 or 4 paychecks away from being in the same situation. Only a little for distance away that if you make 1 or 2 poor decisions, you could be in the same situation and be homeless. The amount of people now, since the pandemic started until now, it has skyrocketed. What is the solution for the homeless situation? Because there's no way for what is happening. There is no way that people who are working people should be living in their cars or living in the street. Something that I saw on, it was either Dateline or 2020, and they were showing people and they work. So they live under a bridge, and then they would put on their whatever, their suit and their briefcase and go to work. So the job doesn't even know that they're homeless, but they have a job, but they have nowhere to live. It's crazy. Oh, the good information, Lisa. Thank you. And I don't think it's something that should be that people who are working people, hardworking people. I'm not talking about the population of those who are homeless already. I mean the ones who are gainfully employed. They're working hard. And one situation happens, either they get sick or something happens, a breakup happens, someone dies in the family, and now they have nowhere to be. The amount of people right now that are homeless, thank you so much, Lashes. The amount of people right now that are homeless, it sickens me. It makes me feel so sad. And it could be any one of us. Any one of us could be in a situation to where we could be outdoors. And a lot of people think that a person who is homeless, that they're defined as someone who has mental illness, they have a drug pop problem, an alcohol problem, and that's not always the situation. Life can happen, decisions could happen. Maybe they didn't make a good decision, or just the cost of living, or they could have lost their job, no income, they couldn't pay their rent, and they're out. They're out. They're homeless now. I wanted to talk about this because I'm asking, what is the solution to homelessness? What is the solution to dealing with the cost of living right now? Because you can only work so much. You can only do so much until your body will break down. What is the next step for working families to do? Yeah, you can budget and you can do everything that you should, but what if your job closes out? What if you get sick and now you can't work? Or what if something happens major in your family and you're depending on the income of somebody else in your home and now they can't work? What is a person to do? Lisa says, I was laid off twice in less than 4 years. I never would have expected it. Wow, Lisa, I'm sorry that happened to you. And you're not the only one that's happened to. During the pandemic, I was laid off. And it was very difficult to start over again. That's basically what it is. It's like, what was it like? Okay, like a Tuesday. Yeah, it was a Tuesday. They called us in the office one by one and told us this, there's only 2 weeks left here. And some people, they didn't come back the next day, but I stayed for the 2 weeks until I could find something else. And even after, you know, the 2 weeks had ended, it took me almost, I would say, 3 or 4 months to find another job. Yeah, be as prepared as possible. And I say this because it's important to plan. When everything is okay in your family, you don't think that something could happen, that I could lose my job, I could get sick. So, and that's why it's so important to be prepared. That is so important, to be prepared as possible. Oh, wow, Lisa, that's a lot. And that's what I'm talking about. You never know how your life will be. Anything can happen to you. With a family member, you may think, okay, I'm doing good right now, but we do have to plan for the future. And it's not something that I thought about before the pandemic, because I think I was doing okay. But then when it comes to, like, now I don't have a job, if I didn't have 2 months of living expenses saved, I would have went under. So I just want to talk to you all and say, if you can, please try to have at least 60 days to 90 days worth of income put away. Because if you don't, you never know. You need to have at least 3 months. What do they say? 3 months, because that's about the average time period it takes to find another employment. Oh, you had 6 months notice? Wow. I can't imagine that, 6 months. Well, I only got 2 weeks. And they told me on a Tuesday that we have 14 days. So it was the Tuesday. So it was Wednesday, Thursday. No, it was Monday. It was Monday. I take it back. It was Monday. So we had Monday that we were told, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That was 4 days. And after that, we had 10 days after that, starting the Monday. So it was Monday to Friday, and then Monday to Friday. And that was it. I had no job. So you never know what's going to happen to you. You never know what's going to happen to your family. You never know when you're going to get sick. You never know when something is going to happen to you. And I'm not saying this to be like doom and gloom. And I'm just being realistic. I'm being realistic because when, about, what was it, 6 years ago, when my dad passed away, I wished that I had 6 months to a year's worth of income, because my heart was hurting. I didn't feel like working anymore, but I was forced to still have to work because I didn't plan anything. Hey, Word, how are you doing? Welcome. Yeah, it was like, because I didn't make any plans to take care of myself, I had to suffer. And because I didn't plan, it was like, it's like when something happens, like everything started happening. Um, Car broke down. My dad passed away. They went up on my rent. Everything was like happening. And I'm like, why is everything happening to me at this time period? But like, if you plan and you're saving and you have money put away, you should have a little wiggle room for a few months until you can get your head together. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Hey, King Me 305, welcome. I I just think that it's so important to think about these things before something happens, because unfortunately for myself, I didn't expect something to happen to me. I didn't expect to be laid off my job. I didn't expect to lose my father. I didn't expect a lot of things to happen, and they were all happening at once. And when you're not planning for it, you should have put away an account that you could be able to live comfortably for the next at least 6 months. And if you don't have that plan in place, you need to start thinking about how to cushion and pad your savings or your living expenses for the next 6 months, because anything could happen that you wouldn't be able to work for the next 6 months, even sometimes up to a year, just until you get your head right. Hey, Lydia, how are you? Welcome. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy new week. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. I just want to hear from you all. How are things on your end? Is inflation kicking you in the butt? I know inflation is kicking me in the butt. The cost of everything is ridiculous right now. It's ridiculous. And if you don't plan for things, and I don't think anybody could have foreseen the things that has happened. Hey, Nexie, welcome. How are you? Happy Monday. And thank you, everybody, for the likes. I appreciate them, every single one of them. So, how is everybody doing with the inflation? Like, is it killing you, or you're doing all right, or you're suffering? For some people, their struggle is their rent. Some people, their struggle is just paying the other expenses, like their light bill and their water bill has gone up tremendously, or their gas, or your insurance went up. For me, my property taxes went up almost $300. So I'm feeling the pinch of a lot of things. Feeling the pinch. I had my wife quit when her mom got sick. We dipped in our savings. It didn't destroy us, but definitely took a hit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm so sorry that happened. My condolences to you and your wife. You're back. Thank you, realist. The cost of food and groceries is out of control. Who are you telling? Like, I'm not going to lie to y'all. Sometimes it's cheaper for me to eat out than to cook a meal. And, it's crazy. It's like by the time you buy yourself some meat, some rice, some salad, some this, some that, like a meal could cost about $50. But yeah, you probably could eat from that meal another one or two times. But sometimes, like at the end of the day, after working a long hours, and I work long hours, I work 12 to 13 hours. So when I work, the last thing that I want to do when I come home is think about cooking anything. Yeah, they went up on, who are you telling? Because I got a dog. Y'all probably seen him on my vlog channel. He's a big boy, and he eats. My dice, he eats. He eats. So I don't know. It's like I'm gonna have to start giving him some human food. Can't afford to buy that pet food. It's crazy. I know, realist. It's crazy. It's crazy right now. And I was saying to my one of my friends who, she does pretty well working as a nurse, and she was telling me she herself is struggling because of the cost of things. So like if you had a car before the pandemic and you were paying, $400, $500 a month for, your car payment, it was fine then. But with everything that has changed, you can't afford to have the same luxuries that you used to have. Sometimes you got to give up that car and get something more affordable so that you can eat And that's crazy that you have to go through those things living in this country. Yep. Inflation ain't no joke. Wife went back to work and I picked up extra. It's definitely a problem. It's good to have multiple sources of income. Yeah, that's the only way to be. That's the only way that I'm surviving. I do have my business, but I have to work outside of the home too because it's not doing what it used to do. It's not doing what it used to do. Money can only stretch so far. You also have to budget, you got to plan, and you can't do as much spontaneous things as you used to. And I hate that. I hate that you can't be spontaneously like, you know, splurge on an extra $100, 150. Well, I can't say for me like I used to. I used to be like nothing, like, oh, 150, that's nothing because things weren't as expensive as they are now. Now you have to stay on course with your budget. The cost of daily living is getting too expensive. You work to survive, not to enjoy anymore. Yeah. And that makes me sad. And something that really made me sad was the babies who were born during this pandemic. I feel sorry for the pandemic babies. I really do. The pandemic babies were the ones that they were born and they didn't get to get the hugs and the kisses and the affection, be around family members. Some of them had to um, stay home with their parents. They didn't get a lot of social, you know, I can't think of the word right now. It's not coming to my brain, but they didn't get social activities like other children their age. So they're behind the eight ball, developmentally because they just didn't have the things that they need, and they're expected now to be like every other 3 and 4 year old now, and it's just ridiculous. How do you expect them? You didn't normalize what happened in their life, and now they're just supposed to act like nothing happened. Yes, social interaction. Thank you, Nexie. Ain't gonna lie, if you got extra skills and don't have to claim, staying under that threshold is good. Yeah. Yeah, you got to. That's why I always talk about, using your skills. You may have to go and juggle a few different things. You may have to have a few different hustles in order to keep your head above water. I feel like that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's going to work right now. Right, Nexie? Social interaction. I agree with the word. Multiple streams of income, as cliche as it sounds, has definitely helped, but everyone doesn't have the same set of resources and opportunities to venture into that. Right. Some people, they can only do so much. Shout out to all the moms and the dads out there holding it down, taking care of your kids. Shout out to you. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's apple pie for the ones that are single, but when you have a kid or kids, you have to think about so many other things than just yourself. So shout out to the parents making it happen for your kids. And also shout out to, all those who are single, trying your best to make it work with what you have. Everybody has problems. Every single person, even the ones that try to pretend that they don't, the ones that try to fake like they have this wonderful life. Everybody, and I mean everybody, has problems. Everybody. Yes, my son didn't get out a lot and didn't get any socializing, but does good in groups. Well, that's good, the word. Well, I've seen, I have my best friend is a kindergarten teacher, and she was saying like the kindergartners that started, this year and last year, it was a completely different experience. They were behind developmentally, even though they had been. turned 5 when it was time for school, but because they had 2 years of no socialization, they still were like 3 year olds. Like some of them still like were wetting themselves. They didn't know how to get to the bathroom. Like their social skills weren't where it needed to be. And I feel sad for them because they're 2 years behind that they can't get back. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's the parents, but the parents were just doing the best that they could. And they wonder why the crime rate is always up and down. Man, folks got to do what they got to do. America not worried about our families and kids, so folks got to hustle by any means. Yeah, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm not side eyeing no one and judging anybody, but when you gotta take care of your family is hungry, you about to be in the streets, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm just saying, that's a talk, real talk. And let's get into talking about these evil people. Oh my goodness. There's so much evil people now in today's society. There's so much evil people doing evil things. We know about evil people on this app. We know about evil people, these children unaliving their parents, parents unaliving their children, the shootings in schools, road rage on the streets, uh, the crimes of the police against just anybody, especially melanated people, the crimes that are happening for no reason at all. Um, the Karens and the Kens, with their entitlement. It's a lot of things that is happening. And I just, like, when is all of this just going to stop? Like, people just don't know how to control themselves anymore. And yes, a lot of people have, some mental illness. Let's just state that. A lot of evil people out there, they do have mental illness and they need to go see a doctor, and that's not making fun of them. That's real life, just being an adult in this society. You have to deal with so much, and some people don't cope with it well. And it's nothing wrong if you need some help to adjust and to be a productive member of society. Sometimes you do. You need to say, I need some help. I need to take something. But people on this app, mm, people on this app, I don't even know what to say. Yeah. King Me Facts. I always preach to people, learn skills that you can use to make money and save money. Yep, that's the truth. Multiple streams of income. I remember my mom and my dad used to always say that to me, when I was younger, like between 12 and 19. I was always hearing them constantly talk about that and make sure you're working now, save some money. But I didn't get that. When you're living at home with your parents, you're not thinking about saving. I was too busy having fun. I was too busy having fun and you know just being young. When you're young, you never think that you're going to get older. You never think that the situation that you're in right now would be your situation. And I definitely wish I would have saved a lot more when I had the possibility when I was still living at home. But I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on and with these people that are evil and doing these crimes. And I don't understand how people are committing these crimes like pure evil things and getting away with it. Um, they're not being, there's no penalty. They're saying they're not guilty. So, and they have these trials, they're in jail for all this time period while the families have to grieve their loss And then it's like a slap in the face for the families. It's like pouring salt into their wound that their family members now are gone. They were killed for some reason, and now still no justice. Yeah, it's sad to witness all of these evils. I really feel sad, especially for the younger generation. Boy, did I sound like an older individual, but I really do. I know of the times where I could have fun, out in the streets, doing what you do when you're a little kid, running and just being a child, jumping, having fun, being out past dark without having to worry about crimes being against you. When I had a sense of community, and I was really, I was really blessed to have amazing, strong neighbors and other adults that rallied around me. That when I got out of line, they got me back in line. I'm grateful to have that kind of system, and my heart grieves for the younger people who think that it's okay to do everything that you want and to think that there's no consequences for your actions. There is evil in the world. Unfortunately, it is only going to get worse. People are also desperate and willing to do anything to survive. Selfishness and greed running rampant. Mm, I wish I could pin that comment, Lydia. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, people just think it's all about them. And I understand that every single person, every human being just wants to survive. They just want to live. They want to live in and have certain things. Like, you shouldn't have to worry about not having a place to live, or worried about having food to eat, and if your lights are going to be on, or if you're going to have water for basic needs such as showering, washing your hands, watering your toilet. You shouldn't have to worry that those things could be cut off if I don't have certain things. So, because some people's situation, they just have to do what they got to hustle and do things that maybe they never would have thought about doing. And then they get caught up in the system. It's just a cycle. It's just a cycle of hate and sadness and pain. I just and let me get back on topic, talking about these evil people now. I have to say, the way that I was raised, and shout out to my mom and daddy, live in my heart forever. Um, when I was younger, I used to think I had the worst parents ever. I had very strict Caribbean parents. Y'all know Jamaican parents don't play, if you don't know that. But, I used to think, as my parents didn't want me to enjoy life, but now being an adult and having a parental role now I can see that a lot of it was just protection, life experiences, and yeah, it was just that. And I have to always constantly say that parents have to parent. I think not all the time, because some children are just born with an evil spirit. Wickedness is with them. But sometimes parents see certain things, certain tendencies in their children, and they fail to discipline them. They fail to do anything. So they just let them go. Like, I don't want to deal with it. Like, I already worked a long day. Like, go outside and do whatever it is you do. Get out of this house. And there's no guidance. There's no good examples. So, of course, when you know these children who never had any, any discipline, any guidance, they weren't taught about a hard work ethic. Of course, when they age, they become an adult. Hey, Tanya, how are you? Welcome. Happy Monday. Of course, when these children now become adults, they're not productive members of society. You know, they weren't taught to have a strong worth ethic. They weren't taught to have dreams, to try hard, to never give up. That's one thing I can say about the way I was raised. I saw my dad work two jobs. He would go to one job, 6 to 2, work in a bank, then go and work nights as a CNA, certified nursing assistant. And he came home every evening about, I would say like 10:20, 10:30, but he was gone all day. But he did the best that he could. I saw uh, a man providing for his family. I saw my mother, even though there was 10 of us kids, we never were dirty. We had a clean home. And from their vantage point, they did the best that they could to show us love and to keep us from being not being what society has called us. They always talk to us about values and being somebody. And now parents are scared to say that. Some of them, unfortunately, they're still children. They're still little boys, they're still little girls. They haven't grown up. They're still dealing with their traumas from their childhood, and now they're parents and they're not parenting because they need someone to love them and mentor them so that they can be stronger. Because I'm telling you, if a parent is not strong, the child is not going to be strong. Not that that has anything to do with when children and people are evil, but if parents would parent and take care of their kids and be a good example. I know for me, I didn't care what my mom and dad said. It was about the action. So my parents could tell me all day how life was, but I wasn't listening to nothing. I wasn't listening to nothing. I went by what my parents actually did. I saw how they used to serve others. I saw what my mom used to give to the homeless and mentor and help other people. And she would send barrels of food and clothing back home to Jamaica. So I saw that. To me, like she would always tell me all the time, love other people. But for me, I got to see, love in action. And I think that's important, that parents have to show their children, not just say love others and be kind, but also be that too. Absolutely agree. Our children have been oversaturated with sexual, lazy habits and violent material at their fingertips. Now they're comparing their lives to social media fake lives. Boy, say that again. And all these people now think everything in life is about what is on your social media. Listen, the majority of that on social media is not real. It's made up. The majority of it is on credit cards. These people don't have money. People are out here fronting and pretending that they have all of this, and look at that, look at this, and look at that. They don't have nothing. And what they're telling you most of the time is a smoke screen. It's a lie. None of it is true. So if you think that, oh wow, my life isn't good, look at what they have. Listen, that's not real. And unfortunately, a lot of the young people think that because other kids maybe on their social media reel has this and has that, and they don't have it. Maybe they're not a good person, or their life is terrible, when it's not about the money. At the end of the day, it's about the love that you have at home, and those that instill love in you and treat you respectfully. Also, many parents want to be friends with their children more than parents. Little discipline. It's sad sometimes when I see children totally disrespecting their children. I was talking about that the other day. I don't know where I was, because I do be in these YouTube streets, but somebody was talking about it, and I was like, it's crazy to see like children demanding that parents do this or do that. And the parents are afraid to do anything. They're afraid to discipline their children, because I've heard a kid say, "You can't do anything. You can't hit me. I'm going to call the police. If you can't touch me, you can't do anything." And it's like they have tied the hands of parents. Well, not my parents. See, I still have the majority of my friends are all Caribbean, and we still have the same values. Yeah, we gonna do it anyways. You can't let society govern your parenting styles. I'll just say that. Don't let anybody tell you how to parent, because at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. You better take care of your kids. Better take care of your kids, because then it's going to come back to, oh, why didn't you discipline your kid? And now you're going to see your child through the um the jail, where they're wearing an orange jumpsuit. Is that how you want your kids to go down that road? And like Lydia said, these parents are afraid to parent. They want their kids to be their friends. They think, oh yeah, my best friend. You see them all the time, you know, mother and daughter. Like mom has on a crop top and these little tiny shorts, and their little 4-year old, 5-year old has on the same outfit. Like, is that okay? When did that start being okay? You make the child grow up so fast, and then when something fast happens to them because you've over sexualized them, now who's to blame? Hmm. Make it make sense. I just um I just don't understand. I don't understand anything about it. I just wanted to come on here and to cover it, and to ask you guys what is going on in your lives, how you all are coping with it, and don't let society tell you how to parent. Don't let other people tell you what you should do with your life. At the end of the day, you got to make good choices that's good for you and your family. Everybody has different thoughts and opinions. Respect yourself. Don't let anybody tell you what to do and what to think. So, a lot of people, and they're weak minded, they're afraid to speak up for what they think, they're afraid to speak up for the things that they believe in. And your strength and your power, it starts at home. You got to be a strong person, strong family member, strong parent, strong whatever it is that you are. And then when you get out in the community, you can be a strong member of society, because you know who you are. And a lot of people don't know who they are. They're allowing other people to tell them who they are. So just wanted to come in, chit chat with you all, and see how everybody was doing. How has your week been so far? How has your Monday gone? Hope your Monday was okay. It wasn't too terrible. I hope you get a chance to relax for the rest of your evening. And all of you, don't let nobody tell you how to take care of your kids. And when you see something is not right, take charge of it. Even your income, try to get into saving some money and budgeting. Unfortunately, the homeless situation is not going to change. People will always be homeless in this society, but if you plan and you prepare to have at least 6 months of income to a year, you can maybe be on the other side of that until you get yourself together. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. Appreciate it, all of you. Thank you, Realist, Lydia, Tanya, Lashes. Yep. Appreciate all your support. Nexie, King Me, Word. There you go. Word. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I appreciate everybody's support. Y'all support means so much to me. I'm on my road to 700 subscribers. I can't believe that happened so fast. I've only had this channel since October. So I think that's pretty good growth from October till now. So I thank y'all so much for your support. And the video should have uploaded. I just started a new series. I'm going to be uploading podcast conversations every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So when you get an opportunity, check out the latest podcast. It's the first one in this series. It's going to be every Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions about that topic. And thank you all always for joining me and rocking out with your girl. I appreciate it so much. You've just tuned in to the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, like, share this out, share with somebody you know who would be interested in this content. Thank you. As always, this is Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it.